Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a book that's touched so many people, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
Absolutely. Published back in 1988.
Right, and it landed right at this interesting time, culturally speaking. People were starting to look maybe beyond just materialism, searching for something deeper.
Yeah.
Spirituality, self-discovery.
Yeah, it really did. It kind of challenged that whole 80s vibe, didn't it? Suggested there's more to life than, well, just stuff.
And then it just exploded globally in the 90s.
It really did, and that timing was perfect, wasn't it? Right alongside the rise of the self-help movement, New Age thinking. It just clicked.
So for a lot of readers, it became more than a novel.
Oh, definitely. It was like a personal guide, a philosophy almost. At a time when maybe traditional anchors felt a bit loose for people, The Alchemist offered this new kind of compass.
And Coelho himself, his path to writing it wasn't exactly straightforward.
Not at all. Super diverse background, theater, music. He was even a lyricist for a big Brazilian rock star.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. But then he did this pilgrimage, the Camino de Santiago. And that seemed to be really pivotal.
You can feel that journey in the book, can't you?
Yeah.
Santiago's quest sort of mirrors Coelho's own search.
Unquestionably. That pilgrimage experience, it just permeates the whole novel, the metaphors, the themes. It's deeply personal. Plus, you have his own background, right? Raised Catholic, but also deeply into mysticism, alchemy, world religions.
So it's like a blend.
Exactly. A synthesis of all these different wisdom traditions, but presented in a really simple, accessible story.
Okay, so let's unpack the core idea, the absolute heart of it. It's about finding and chasing your personal legend.
Your personal legend, which is basically your true purpose, your unique destiny.
Right. But here's the challenge, and this is why I think it still hits home today. How do you actually find that in this world with, constant noise, distractions, everyone telling you what you should be doing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah, and maybe even harder.
Yeah.
What actually happens when you commit to it?
Yeah.
Like really commit.
It's incredibly relevant now. We're dealing with so much technological change. Society feels fragmented sometimes. There's immense pressure around careers. It's easy to feel lost.
Totally.
And The Alchemist offers this almost radical alternative. It's rooted in things like intuition, destiny, this sort of spiritual alignment.
So for you listening, what we want to do in this deep dive isn't just summarize the plot.
No, not at all. It's about giving you a pathway into the book's core insights. A kind of framework, maybe, for thinking about your own life, your own transitions, and finding meaning that goes, beyond just the paycheck or the next goalpost.
Okay, great setup. So let's start unlocking some of those core principles, the ideas that really make you stop and think when you read it. First one, this big concept of the personal legend being tied to, what does Coelho call it? The universal conspiracy.
Yeah, the idea that the universe conspires to help you achieve your personal legend.
Which it sounds nice, but maybe a bit simplistic.
Well, it's often misunderstood, I think. It's not saying life suddenly gets easy like magic. It's more that the obstacles you face, they're not actually roadblocks if you're on the right path. They become part of the process.
Ah, okay. So the challenges contain lessons or opportunities.
Exactly. Provided the goal is genuinely yours, aligned with that deeper purpose. Think about Santiago at the start. He has that recurring dream.
The treasure in Egypt.
Right. Then Melchizedek, this mysterious old king, shows up and confirms it's his call to adventure, and he gives him those stones.
Urim and Thummim. I always found those fascinating.
Me too. Ancient tools for guidance, right? One black, one white, like a cosmic yes or no when he's completely lost.
So it's not about avoiding difficulty, but trusting that even in the difficulty, there's a larger pattern at play, that the universe is kind of on your side.
In a way, yes. It's about trusting the journey itself. That trust, Coelho suggests, activates forces beyond your own effort. It's about flow.
And that connects to the next big idea, doesn't it? Intuition. The heart as a guide.
A huge part of the book. The heart isn't just about emotion. It's portrayed as this spiritual compass. It speaks in feelings, not logic.
But that's tricky, isn't it? Our feelings can be all over the place. Fear, desire. They can lead us astray.
And Coelho addresses that. The heart does speak through fear sometimes, or uncertainty. Think about Santiago at the oasis with Fatima. He desperately wants to stay.
His heart is torn.
Exactly. But the book argues that even through that conflict, the heart still knows the underlying truth of his personal legend, and that real love, true connection, actually supports your purpose. It doesn't demand you abandon it.
So it's about learning to listen beneath the surface noise of immediate feelings.
Precisely. Listening patiently, with discernment. That's where the deepest truths lie, even if the path feels scary or counterintuitive sometimes.
Okay, this next one feels really central to the book's whole worldview, the soul of the world.
And the language of omens.
Right. So the soul of the world, it's like this underlying spiritual force connecting everything. Like the universe is alive and intelligent.
That's the idea. A single, united system. Not just inert matter, but a living presence.
And omens are how it communicates.
Through the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities, it's the universe speaking directly to your soul, if you're paying attention.
And they can be anything, right? Not just dramatic visions.
Anything. A dream, like Santiago's. The way a hawk flies. A chance conversation. That vision Santiago has of the Oasis tribes warring.
That was a huge moment. He had to trust it, even though it was terrifying.
Exactly. He had to trust that intuitive hit, that omen. And it shows that wisdom isn't just in books or science labs. It's flowing all around us. It's intuitive, accessible. You just have to learn to read the signs.
Okay, so we've laid out these big, fascinating concepts, but the key question is how do we, actually use this stuff? How do we take it from philosophy to, like, real life?
Right, the practical application. Let's start with clarifying your own personal legend. How do you even begin to figure that out?
Yeah, amidst the bills and the emails and everything else.
It really has to start with some honest reflection, maybe even uncomfortable reflection. Asking yourself things like, what genuinely makes me feel alive? Forget practical for a second. Or, what dream did I bury somewhere along the way because it seems silly or impossible?
That requires real courage just to ask.
It does, but that inquiry, that's the starting point. It's both spiritual and psychological. It sets your compass.
So, practically, what could someone do, like, today?
Maybe some dedicated journaling time, not just about your day, but specifically asking, what did I love as a kid before the world told me what was sensible? What moments have felt most me? Trying to filter out the inherited goals from the genuine desires.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about listening to the heart? You said it's not just emotion, it's deeper knowing.
Yeah.
How do we tune into that channel?
Yeah, how do you get past the static? The book implies that fear, societal conditioning, all those shoulds, they muffle the signal.
So you need quiet.
You need intentional stillness. That doesn't have to mean hours of meditation, though that helps. It could be 5 minutes of focusing on your breath, a walk in nature without your phone, deliberate solitude.
Creating space.
Exactly, creating space for that quieter voice, your most sincere desires, to actually surface. It's about practicing that connection, especially when logic leaves you spinning your wheels.
Okay. And then reading omens.
Mhm.
How do we do that without just, seeing shapes in the clouds and thinking it's a message? How do we avoid wishful thinking?
It's a fair question. It's less about superstition and more about cultivating heightened awareness and openness to synchronicity.
So meaningful coincidences.
Right. Or repeating themes. Maybe you're grappling with the choice and suddenly you hear the same phrase 3 times in one day from different sources, or an image keeps popping up. The idea is not to take it as literal instruction necessarily, but as an invitation to pause and reflect. Huh, that's interesting. What might that be pointing towards?
Like the universe is nudging you to pay attention to something.
Kind of. A good practice here is keeping a journal just for those moments. Write down the weird coincidences, the symbols that stand out. Over time, you might start seeing patterns. It helps you learn your specific symbolic language with the world.
Turning the ordinary into the sacred, like you said earlier. I like that.
Yeah. It's about seeing life as an ongoing conversation, not just a series of random events.
The book itself gives us some great examples or case studies of these ideas. The Crystal Merchant is such a memorable one.
Oh, absolutely. He's heartbreaking in a way.
Yeah, why? He seems okay, runs his shop.
But he's stuck. He has his own personal legend, the dream of going to Mecca. But he's too afraid. Afraid of change, afraid of losing the little he has. And that fear keeps him trapped.
So he represents inaction.
Exactly. He's a cautionary tale about the cost of not pursuing your dream. It's not dramatic failure. It's this slow, quiet erosion of the spirit. Comfort over vitality.
Wow. Such a contrast to Santiago, especially after he gets robbed. That seemed like the end of the line for him.
It looked like it. A total disaster. He loses everything. But how does the book frame it?
As necessary.
Right. Not just bad luck, but a crucial turning point. It forces him to be resourceful, to adapt. And it leads him directly to the Crystal Merchant shop.
Where he learns so much about patience, business,
Yeah.
even about almonds.
Exactly. So that failure wasn't meaningless at all. It was an essential part of the path, propelling him forward, teaching him what he needed for the next stage. It shifts how you see setbacks, doesn't it?
Definitely. From roadblocks to part of the road itself.
Precisely.
Okay, let's dig even deeper now. The title itself, The Alchemist. Alchemy isn't just about literal gold, is it?
Not in this context, no. It's the master metaphor for inner transformation. Turning lead into gold is like turning our base nature, our fears, our ego, our limitations into spiritual awareness, into our true self.
So Santiago's trials, the desert, the danger, the fear, they're like the alchemist's fire.
Absolutely. They're the crucibles. They burn away the impurities, the dross, allowing that inner gold to emerge. The character of the alchemist reinforces this constantly. External success is just a reflection of internal richness.
So the real alchemy is the process of becoming.
That's the heart of it. The journey of refining yourself, mastering your fears, expanding your consciousness, that's the true treasure, more than any physical reward.
Which leads perfectly to that other huge theme. The journey is the treasure.
He starts out seeking literal gold, right? A chest buried near the pyramids.
But the whole quest becomes something else entirely.
It becomes a spiritual pilgrimage. The wisdom he gains, the love he finds with Fatima, the connection he feels to the soul of the world, that's the real wealth. It's far more valuable than the gold itself.
Coelho makes that point really clearly with the Englishman character too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, the contrast is stark. The Englishman is all about books, theory, intellectual knowledge about alchemy.
All Santiago learns by doing, by living it.
Exactly. He learns through experience, observation, intuition, making mistakes. It's a powerful statement. True understanding comes from engaging with life, not just studying it. The hardships aren't bumps in the road. They are the road, forging resilience and clarity. Suffering isn't pointless. It's part of the refinement.
And the biggest piece of that suffering, the thing he has to keep confronting, is fear.
Always fear. It's the main antagonist, really. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of what people think, fear of the unknown. It's always there.
So what's the book's answer to fear?
Action. Simple as that. Take the step anyway. Move forward despite the fear. Don't wait for it to go away because it might not. Walk through it.
That sounds simple, but it's incredibly hard in practice.
The hardest? Maybe. But the book suggests that's the only way. Maybe a practical takeaway for you listening is identify one small fear today, something you're avoiding, and just take one tiny intentional step towards it. See what happens.
Because transformation is on the other side.
That's the promise. Fear is the gatekeeper.
And then the ending, that amazing paradoxical twist. He goes all the way to Egypt, faces death, only to find out the treasure was back where he started.
Right under the sycamore tree in Spain, where he had the first dream.
It feels almost like a joke, but it's not, is it?
No, it's deeply profound. It's not cynical irony. It's affirming. It says that often what we're searching for out there is actually in here or right where we began, but we can't see it, we can't recognize it until we've gone through the transformation of the journey.
You have to leave home to find home.
Essentially, yes. The journey was necessary to develop the eyes to see what was always there. It's like the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, another key alchemical symbol. Completion, cycles, unity. He had to complete the circle to understand the starting point.
So wrapping this all up, The Alchemist isn't really about a shepherd boy finding gold.
Not primarily. It's about the profound inner change that occurs because he dared to seek it. Santiago's journey becomes this beautiful symbol for all of our journeys of self-discovery.
And the real treasure.
The real treasure is who he becomes. His connection to his purpose, his courage, his wisdom. That's the gold.
And that message, pursuing dreams, spiritual connection, seeing obstacles as tests that resonates universally, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It taps into fundamental human hopes and questions. It offers this kind of timeless blueprint for living with purpose, urging us towards courage, faith, and listening to that inner wisdom no matter what life throws at us.
It really is a powerful little book. So a final thought for you, our listener, to take away from this deep dive, something to maybe mull over.
Yeah.
In your own life right now,
Mm-hmm.
what treasure might be waiting for you, maybe hidden in plain sight? Something you won't be able to recognize until you undertake your own necessary journey, your own inner transformation. What fears might you need to face? What steps might you need to take to finally see what's already within you, or maybe surprisingly close by?